You're listening to an exclusive episode of the NK News podcast, available only to subscribers. You can listen to this and other episodes from your preferred podcast player by accessing the private podcast feed. For more detailed instructions, please see the step-by-step guide on the NK News website at nknews.org/private-feed. Hello listeners and welcome to the NK News podcast. I'm your host, Jacko Zwetsloot, and today's episode is recorded on February the 14th, Valentine's Day, here in the NK News podcast studio. And today I am joined by Joh Kyeongil, a North Korean defector and political commentator with a truly unique perspective. Joh fled North Korea as a teenager and settled in South Korea, where he has built a reputation for his progressive political stance, which is uncommon among North Korean refugees, and his work on peace building and inter-Korean relations. He's also an author, a YouTuber, and an advocate for change, with a keen interest in bridging divides on the Korean peninsula. And you can find his YouTube channel at Peace Agora. That's Agora. We'll put a link in the show notes. Welcome on the show, Joh Kyeongil. Thank you for joining me.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So we were introduced a few weeks ago by our mutual friend, Joseph Jun, the American, Korean-American documentary maker, who I hope to have on the show one day in the future. He's working on something very interesting now. But yeah, he said that you have a unique voice in the North Korean refugee space, or North Koreans who live in South Korea. I know that defector is not popular with some people, refugee is not popular with some people. So let's just say North Koreans who live in South Korea. It's a very long phrase.
Okay.
So he said you have a unique voice because you are a progressive North Korean refugee. What does that mean?
Well, I think, of course, there are various voices among the North Korean defectors, of course. And they are just not just exposed to the media, I think. And up to now, when we're just looking at the political inclinations,
Yep.
I think the defectors they just exposed to the media that voice just a conservative voice,
Mm-hmm.
So I think there are many conservative voices because of the mainstreams. They just focus on that voices.
So when you say conservative, it means sort of a very strongly anti-North Korea stance.
Exactly.
Strong on the U.S.-Korea alliance.
Right.
Strong on defense against North Korea, and also making the North Korean threat very big.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So I think there is progressive voices, but since North Korea and South Korea relations are not really good, and also Conservative Party, they have a policy toward North Korea strict against, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, and North Korean defectors, they also have a kind of trauma because they are being oppressed from the regime. So because of that, so Conservative Party, they are hosting the conservative defectors. So I think
because of their experience in North Korea,
right,
being oppressed by the North Korean government,
right,
that they are welcomed by the progressive, what do they call it now? Sorry, not the People Power Party, what you call the Conservative Party in South Korea. That's sort of a natural home for many North Korean defectors.
Right. So because of that, many of people, like South Korean people, they know that most of North Korean refugees, they advocate the Conservative Party, but that's not true, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, but before we go too far, how do you define your political position? What does it mean to you to be progressive?
Well, okay, I'm a progressive and advocate of course, the progressive politics. Since I came to South Korea, I have been involved in progressive politics, and I also worked as a secretary in the National Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
So
when you say progressive politics, you mean sort of a social democratic, sort of more wealth redistribution, higher taxes, stronger unions, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it included that. Yeah. But the point is that the Progressive Party in general, they
the Minju Democratic Party.
Yeah, they usually advocate for the least, the minor people.
Okay, so the sort of weaker members of
Right,
society. Okay,
right.
yeah. But so what about progressive on North Korea? What is a progressive position on North Korea or a progressive stance on North Korea?
Well, in North Korea, you mean?
No, I mean living here in South Korea
Okay.
as a progressive person.
Okay.
What's the progressive policy on North Korea?
Well, I think the point is that we need to solve the North Korean human rights, their reality, right? Through the policy. But the Progressive Party, they think that the relations, through the relations, then it can be improved, the North Korean, the people's human rights.
So by improving inter-Korean relations
Right.
between North and South Korea,
Yeah.
naturally human rights in North Korea will also be improved. Is that what you mean?
Right, because once we improve the North Korean and South Korean relations,
Yeah.
then there's so many side effects that we can support the food, of course, and the healthcare things and sports and and so many side effects will possible. So that can be help the North Korean people there and also their human rights, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's I don't know. Maybe it's just that the Minju Democratic Party is not very good at giving the message, because when there is a president from the Minju Democratic Party in we used to call it the Blue House, the Chongwon,
Right.
but now presidential office,
Right.
the human rights groups in South Korea who are talking about human rights problems in North Korea, they have a hard time. They have a difficult time with the government. You know, I won't say they're oppressed by the government, but they're not favored by the government. They're not welcomed by the government when there is a progressive president in power. We saw that during Roh Moo-hyun. We saw that during the Moon Jae-in time. So what do you think about that?
Well, it's kind of sophisticated,
Aha.
But I think that this is a free country, so we can do whatever we can do, right? So in the the like NGO, they do really good things. They put the information into North Korea, and they try to save the North Korean people too. But the Progressive Party, the policy is that I think they picture the more widely. What I mean is that since we can improve the government relations, they can be solved, and also maybe it can be happen many side effects. So like we can enter exactly the North Korea also, and then we can send the food, and then the North Korean people also they can feel familiar to South Korea. So and also they can learn from each other, like a Kaesong, like a complex, like a industrial complex.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a good model. So, but without doing like improved relations, then we just keep saying that North Korean human rights, blah blah things, that does not exactly change North Korean human rights in North Korea. Right?
Okay.
That's the key point, I think. Yeah.
So what attracted you to progressive politics when you came to South Korea?
Well, I was maybe you guess I was the poorest and the lowest class person in North Korea, right? And
So where in North Korea is your hometown?
well, it's the very northern part. They call it like Aoji. It's well known in South Korea. It's like a coal mine.
Yes.
And well known as there's a prisoner camp, but that's fake news. There's no prisoner camp.
There's no prison camp in Aoji.
Yeah, not the prisoner camp. Anyway, when I was in North Korea, since I was weak, so no one listened to my voice, And when I was hungry and sick and like sad or even like treated unfairly, no one spoke for me, right? But yeah, because of I was a weak person and with no power. You know what? The Bible, the Proverbs say, chapter 31, verse 8 says, "Speak for those who have no power, right? And deaf and mute and blind, So I think I just decided to live for people like I was before. So that's really matched my identity. And also the Progressive Party, most of the policies is is aimed at this kind of group, you know. So it was natural to support our policies for me.
Has it been challenging to hold your political views in South Korea? I mean, is it difficult?
Well, yeah, it is difficult, you know. I'm a North Korean defector, right, in South Korea.
Yes.
Whenever I support or advocate the progressive policy or the candidates, South Korean, most of them are conservative views. They are labeling me, you know, like you are the spy from North Korea. How can you support the progressive party? You're from North Korea.
Yep.
That does not make sense, right? It's a free country, you know, but still they are blaming me as a spy or like a communist.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and as you said before, that's because, one of the reasons is most defectors who speak about North Korea in public, they are very strongly anti-North Korea. You know, they want to see regime change in North Korea or the end of the Kim government in North Korea. Do you think there should be regime change in North Korea? Is that something that you believe in?
Sure. Yeah. The North Korean regime should be changed.
And how can we achieve that? What's the best way to?
Yeah, that's the big problem because it's been like 70 years past, right?
Almost 80, yes.
Yeah. Even the great America couldn't change North Korean regime, right? So that's really a hard thing. So, but we need to change North Korea somehow and one day, and so that North Korean people should feel freedom and feel free to move to the other region and go to the other world, right? So I think the conservative views and also progressive views, we all have same purpose, but the method, that's the little different.
Yes.
Because of the difference, we just blaming each other, I think.
Right. So do you think that the best way to change North Korea is through kindness?
Well, that does not define as just the word kindness, but we need to think the realistic views. You know what? We can't blaming really easily to the others, but that remains just blaming, right? That does not change the one who really we want that.
Yeah.
So I think blaming that's really needed, but also at the same time we need to support. We need to give the carrots, right? So that North Korea should be the member of the normal state nation as a normal state nation, and as a United Nations, of course, and also in the worldwide, because North Korea these days they just isolated, right?
Yes.
They have no connection with the other world.
Well, with Russia and China and Iran and
they are all
recently Syria,
dictatorship countries, right? So we don't say they are free country, right? So we need to find the strategy because of this point. Yeah.
How do other North Korean refugees in South Korea? How do they look at you, or how are your conversations with them? Curious to hear the rest? Become an NK News subscriber today for access to the full episode. Head to nknews.org/join for more information. If you're already a subscriber to NK News, you can listen to full episodes from your preferred podcast player by accessing the private podcast feed. For more detailed instructions, please see the step-by-step guide on the NK News website at nknews.org/private-feed.